Reading the sky, listening to the earth. The lost art of observation. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you're standing in the middle of a vast rice field centuries ago. No smartphone in your pocket, no Google to ask, no radio forecast to listen to. Only the wide open sky, the wind brushing through the crops, the calls of birds in the distance, and clouds drifting lazily overhead. Yet somehow, the farmers of old, our ancestors, knew when the sun would scorch today, when rain would pour tomorrow, or when a storm would roll in a few days later. How did they know? They never studied complex meteorological charts, nor did they have satellites or radar. They relied only on one simple tool: their eyes to see, their ears to listen, and their sensitivity to connect with the world around them. When they looked up and saw dark clouds gathering on the horizon, they knew rain was near. When they felt the wind shifting, they sensed a season changing. When they saw swallows flying low, they predicted rain was coming. When they smelled the earthy scent in the air, they recognized the first rainfall of the season drawing close. The ancients didn't just live with nature, they conversed with it. Every sign, every movement, every subtle change in their surroundings became a signal, a language they learned to read, understand, and trust. Through this ability to observe, they survived. They sowed seeds at the right time, avoided disasters, and lived in rhythm with the laws of heaven and earth. But here's the question. Why is it that today, with all our technology, machines, and knowledge, we've lost this refined sense of observation? We can pull out an app to check if it will rain tomorrow, or turn on the news to see the forecast for the week. We take thousands of photos with our phones, yet rarely stop to truly notice a single flower on the roadside. We hear countless sounds every day, yet miss the quiet sigh of a loved one who needs our care. We are surrounded by signals, yet we fail to recognize the ones that matter. In the past, if a farmer didn't observe, he risked losing his crops, or even his life to floods or droughts. Today, if we fail to observe, we risk losing opportunities at work, ignoring the subtle signs of our body's fatigue, or missing precious chances to truly connect with the people we love. You see, observation isn't just about looking, it's about understanding. It's the bridge between the outer world and the inner self, between what's happening around us and how we respond. So, the real question is this: how did the ancients manage what seems almost impossible, predicting the weather and reading nature without technology? And why is this skill of observation, which seems so simple, actually one of the keys to living more deeply in our modern lives? If you've ever felt that your life is too rushed, if you've ever realized you've missed important moments, or regretted overlooking things that were happening right in front of you, then this is the moment to return to an old lesson from our ancestors: the art of observation. In the next part, I'll take you through 3 perspectives: how the ancients observed, what we are losing today when we no longer observe, and finally, the lessons we can draw and apply to our fast-changing modern lives. Let's begin this journey, not from something distant, but from what seems far yet is close at heart: the fields, the skies, the birds in flight. And through them, we'll rediscover something we need today more than ever: our way of seeing, hearing, and understanding the world around us. After asking, how did the ancients achieve what seems impossible, predicting nature without technology? The answer is simple: they lived by the wisdom of observation. The ancients, especially farmers, did not stand apart from nature as we do today. They didn't treat nature as something out there, but as an inseparable part of life itself. Every seed they planted was tied to the breath of the earth and sky. Sow at the wrong time, and the harvest failed. Harvest too late, and the rains would ruin everything. Observation, then, was as vital as breathing itself. Not just to know if it would rain or shine, but to set the rhythm of their daily lives and labor. Have you noticed how many proverbs and sayings in our culture are about the weather, the seasons, and signs of nature? For example, when dragonflies fly low, it's going to rain. Fly high, it will be sunny. Fly in between, it will be cloudy. In the 7th month, when ants are busy climbing, prepare for floods to come. Nights in May are short, mornings in October are dark before you even smile. These aren't coincidences. They are knowledge gathered over generations, observations, trials, mistakes, and truths distilled into simple wisdom passed down through folk sayings. It is a collective intelligence, built and refined through living side by side with the land. And here's the beauty: the ancients didn't just use their eyes. They listened to the wind whistling through bamboo groves to sense an approaching storm. They smelled the soil to know if rain was near. They felt the dampness in the air to tell when the season was shifting. They watched the fiery red of the sunset to predict tomorrow's sunshine. In other words, they trained all their senses to detect the smallest changes in nature. For them, these signals weren't abstract. They were woven into everyday survival. From this constant awareness, patterns emerged. These weren't written in textbooks, nor backed by scientific charts, yet they lasted through centuries of human experience. They became a living map for farmers: when to plant, when to harvest, when to prepare for storms. Without observation, survival was nearly impossible. Without rice, there was hunger. Without sensing floods or drought, there was loss. Observation was not a choice, it was instinct. Looking back, we see that this wisdom of observation was both simple and profound. Simple because it came from noticing small things: a bird's flight, the wind's direction, the cloud's color. Profound because from those small things, an entire civilization of agriculture thrived for thousands of years. And here lies the difference: they observed to live, to survive. We, on the other hand, often see without seeing, hear without truly listening. Which leads us to the next part: what we are losing when we stop observing. But before that, let's step into their shoes. Imagine yourself as a farmer 3,000 years ago, standing under that vast sky, your family's survival depending entirely on whether you can read the signs of the earth. The clouds, the winds, the moon, the birds, the insects, they might seem like mere details. But for the ancients, they were lifelines. To them, reading the sky was never just about knowing tomorrow's weather. It was about training the mind and senses to be sharp, attentive, and alive to detail. The very details that determined life and death. As the old wisdom says, live in harmony with nature, and nature will whisper back to you. This isn't just a poetic saying, it was a way of life. To listen, to observe, to respect nature meant receiving guidance from it in return. And if we reflect deeply, we'll realize this lesson is still true today. In our work, great opportunities often start as small signals. Only those who notice can seize them. In relationships, loved ones don't always speak their needs out loud. Sometimes their eyes, their tone, or their silence is already a message waiting for us to read. In health, our bodies always give early warnings: a slight ache, a fleeting fatigue. If we observe and respond early, we can prevent bigger problems. The world is full of messages, but only those who observe, listen, and connect can truly read them and act in time. That is the art of living passed down from our ancestors. In the end, reading the sky to predict rain wasn't just a survival skill. It was an art of life, a reminder to stay connected with nature, to stay sharp in noticing details, and to remain deeply present in the flow of life. And this, my friend, is just one fragment of the ancient wisdom left for us. In the next episode, we'll explore another timeless lesson: the art of saving and storing. How did our ancestors prepare for lean times, and why does that wisdom still matter in our modern lives?